how to speak like the 1% elite. There's a secret language spoken by the elite, not written in books, not taught in schools, and yet it shapes everything: power, opportunity, respect, even love. It's not about accents or wealth or status. It's about the way you carry your words, how you choose silence over noise, precision over panic, grace over gossip. This is how the 1% speak, and today you'll learn their language. 1. The elegance of restraint. Listen to the room the next time someone powerful speaks. You'll notice something strange. They don't rush. They don't fill every silence. They let the air breathe around their words, as if time itself bends to their rhythm. This is the power of restraint. Most people talk to be heard. The elite speak to be understood. There's a feminine elegance in restraint, a composure that says, I know my worth, and I don't need to prove it. Every pause becomes a form of punctuation. Every silence, a statement. When you speak less, people lean in. When you choose your words carefully, every syllable gains weight. You'll notice how the 1% don't over-explain. They don't decorate their sentences with fillers. They never say, I just think, or sorry, but or if that makes sense. They own their language, simple, direct, graceful. If you master restraint, you'll start to feel something shift. People stop interrupting. Conversations slow down around you. Your words start landing deeper, not because you said more, but because you said enough. 2. The calm voice of authority. Confidence isn't volume. Confidence is calm. The 1% elite never raise their voices to prove power. They lower them to command attention. A calm tone doesn't just sound sophisticated. It rewires how people perceive you. It signals control, poise, command. Think of the women who command respect without ever needing to shout. Audrey Hepburn, Michelle Obama, Kate Blanchett. Their voices are grounded, slow, deliberate. They never rush. They give every word its space. To speak like the elite, you must lower your pitch slightly and slow your tempo by half. Imagine your words as velvet, not sharp, not rushed, but smooth, deliberate, elegant. The calm voice of authority says, I don't need to dominate you. I've already mastered myself. 3. The power of precision. Elite women know words are currency, and every sentence is an investment. While most people talk emotionally, reacting, rambling, defending, the 1% speak strategically. They measure their language like fine jewelry. No excess, no waste. Instead of saying, I feel like this project is kind of a mess, they say, this project needs refinement in 2 areas, structure and timing. Precision doesn't remove emotion. It channels it. And the difference is night and day. Because vague language makes you sound uncertain. Precise language makes you sound intelligent, composed, and credible. To practice precision, start eliminating weak words from your vocabulary. Maybe, kind of, sort of, like. They dilute your authority. Replace them with clarity. I believe. I recommend. I've decided. I will. You don't have to be loud to be heard. You just have to be clear. For grace under fire. There's one moment that separates the elite from everyone else. The moment of pressure. When most people panic, the elite pause. They breathe before responding. They let emotion pass before choosing words. Grace under fire isn't about pretending to be cold. It's about refusing to be reactive. It's the quiet decision to stay elegant, even when the situation is. Imagine you're criticized in a meeting. Most people rush to defend themselves, but the elite woman listens, nods, and says calmly, I see your point. Let's revisit that with data. No defensiveness, no sarcasm, just poise. You can't buy that kind of composure. It comes from inner security, the belief that your worth isn't up for negotiation. And when you communicate from that place, people feel it. They may not understand why, but they start treating you differently, respectfully. Grace is not weakness. Grace is discipline disguised as kindness. 5. The art of listening like the elite. Most people listen to reply. The elite listen to understand. They treat silence as a tool, a way to study tone, intention, and power dynamics. When someone speaks, they don't interrupt. They observe. They analyze. It's not passive, it's tactical. Listening like the elite means you read people between the lines. What they're not saying, what they're avoiding, what their tone reveals. You become fluent in subtext. And once you start hearing the invisible parts of a conversation, you gain control without saying a word. That's why truly powerful women speak less, not because they're submissive, but because they've already understood more than others realize. When you master this, every dialogue becomes a game of chess, and you'll always be 3 moves ahead. 6. The language of boundaries. One of the most elegant traits of elite communication is how boundaries are expressed firmly, yet gracefully. You'll never hear them say, "Stop treating me like that." They'll say, "That doesn't work for me," or "I'm not available for that." Their tone remains polite, but their line is clear. Boundaries are the grammar of self-respect. They protect your energy, your time, your peace. And the beauty of boundaries is that you can state them without apology. The 1% never explain their limits, they declare them. Practice this. Every time you feel guilt for saying no, remind yourself, the people who respect boundaries end up being respected. The ones who fear setting them end up resentful. The elite woman doesn't chase approval. She defines her standards and lets the world adjust. 7. Emotional intelligence. The hidden accent. There's another layer to how the 1% speak. Something invisible, but deeply felt. Emotional intelligence. They understand the emotional climate of a conversation before they step into it. They know when to comfort and when to challenge. They sense when silence says more than words ever could. This sensitivity isn't softness. Its power refined through empathy. When a woman of true elegance speaks, she doesn't mirror others' chaos. She grounds the room with calm certainty. People leave her presence feeling seen, not judged, heard, not dismissed. That's why the 1% are so magnetic. They don't just speak, they connect. Their language carries emotional grace. If you cultivate that, your influence multiplies. Because the world is starving for grounded, emotionally intelligent communication, the kind that doesn't scream, but radiates. 8. The subtle art of charisma. Charisma is misunderstood. It's not about being the loudest or most charming person in the room. It's about making others feel important in your presence. The elite use subtle charisma, quiet confidence, deep presence, genuine curiosity. They make eye contact that lasts half a second longer. They smile softly, but only when it's real. They speak someone's name deliberately, as if it's the most valuable word in the sentence. They remember details, someone's preference, someone's child's name, someone's tone. And when they talk, their attention doesn't scatter. They're not glancing at phones or scanning the room. Their focus feels like a spotlight, and whoever it lands on feels like the only person in the world. That's charisma, presence, respect, awareness. And when combined with elegance, it's unstoppable. 9. The rhythm of refinement. Speech has rhythm, and the elite understand that language is music. Tone, pace, cadence, pause. If your rhythm is too fast, you sound anxious. Too slow, and you sound uncertain. The sweet spot is deliberate calmness, where your words have time to breathe. The trick: imagine your sentences as brushstrokes, each one intentional, none wasted. You'll notice that refined women rarely use slang or filler language. Their words flow like water, clean, measured, confident. If you want to train this, try reading poetry aloud. Listen to audiobooks narrated by women with calm, rich voices. Record yourself speaking. Notice your rhythm. Then polish it until it feels effortless. Refinement isn't about sounding robotic. It's about rhythm, speaking like you know you belong anywhere. 10. The quiet power of self-respect. Underneath everything, the tone, the pauses, the precision, there's one foundation: self-respect. The 1% don't speak elegantly because they're trying to impress anyone. They speak elegantly because they refuse to lower their standards, even in language. Your speech reflects how you view yourself. If you rush, apologize, or overshare, it often means you subconsciously feel the need to prove your worth. But when you believe you belong, your voice changes. It slows down, it steadies, it softens. That's the quiet confidence of the elite, not arrogance, but inner knowing. When you speak from that place, your words stop trying to convince. They start to command. 11. The discipline of poise. Poise isn't something you're born with. It's a discipline. Every day, you're training your nervous system to overreact or to stay grounded. The elite train for calmness the way athletes train for strength. They meditate. They read slowly. They breathe before answering. They understand that grace under pressure is a muscle. And the more you exercise it, the easier it becomes to speak elegantly, even when you feel chaos inside. Poise is power disguised as serenity. And when a woman masters it, her presence becomes unforgettable. 12. Silence, the final tool of power. Here's the ultimate secret. The most powerful women know when not to speak. Silence can protect your dignity. It can turn an argument into reflection. It can transform tension into mystery. When you stop explaining yourself to those who misunderstand you, you reclaim your energy. When you stop responding to provocation, you become untouchable. Silence is not weakness. It's strategy. The 1% use silence the way artists use negative space to make their message more beautiful, more precise, more haunting. Never be afraid to say nothing. Sometimes silence is the loudest language of all. 13. How to begin today. You don't need wealth or privilege or a famous last name to speak like the elite. You just need awareness. Start by choosing one of these habits to refine each week. Maybe it's speaking slower. Maybe it's eliminating filler words. Maybe it's practicing silence. Over time, your language will begin to change, not because you're pretending to be someone else, but because you're returning to your essence. Because underneath the noise, underneath insecurity, underneath every apology and hesitation, there's a woman who already knows how to speak with power. All she needs is permission, her own. You don't need to imitate the 1%. You can become the 1%, not by chasing their wealth, but by embodying their presence, their restraint, their mastery of language. Because language is energy. And when you speak with elegance, with calm, with purpose, you don't just sound powerful. You become powerful. So speak slowly. Speak clearly. Speak like you know the world listens when you do. That's how you speak like the 1% elite, with elegance, with grace, with self-respect that whispers louder than anyone else's shout.